Okay, welcome back to the ZT Audio channel. Today we're going to follow on exploring some of the recording sequencer features of the new Roland Fantom workstation. The previous video was on the TR Rec feature, and we kind of explored that in some detail. Today we're going to get into a feature called step recording. It's really a good idea, just from a housekeeping standpoint, to go ahead and watch that TR Rec video first, because we're going to refer back to that a little bit, and I don't want to repeat the same material over and over. Also, from a housekeeping perspective, keep in mind we're just using the iPhone audio today. I'm not trying to go for great audio quality. This is a tutorial on how to operate the machine, not on demonstrating the sound quality of the instrument. So keep those things in mind. I always like to give a little bit of value and show you kind of information and context. So one of the things we'll find out is that, yesterday I was recording some stuff, and we've got some holdovers from doing that previous TR Rec video. And so already in the sequencer we have some material, and we want to get rid of that so that we can do some new stuff. If I go into the zone view, though, I'll find out that I want to keep this Auto JP bass sound that I selected in that previous video, and I also want to keep this CR78 drum machine sound, just from a standpoint of maintaining consistency so that we're kind of working with the same material. I do want to get rid of that sequencer material, though. So how do we do that? Well, we'll go to our pattern mode, and we're going to hit Pattern Utility, and I'm going to say I want to delete those patterns, and I'm going to delete all of them. I'm going to delete the bass and the drums. So I'm going to hit Delete All, hit OK. Yes, I'm sure, and you'll notice that those patterns seem to have disappeared. But what did I make a big point out of yesterday on the Fantom? Everything is saved in a scene, and if you want to keep your work, you want to save your scene, because otherwise you'll do something like this. You think you've put together some work. There's no anything in the pattern sequencer. Okay. I move over to another scene because I want to play around with this sound for a while, or I want to play around with an acoustic piano for a while, and then I go back here, and guess what? Oh, wait a minute, that stuff that I had in there before is still there. Well, it's because I didn't save the scene after I deleted those patterns. So let's go back in there again, and I'll show you this again. We're going to go to Pattern. We're going to go to Pattern Utility. We're going to hit Delete. I'm going to delete all the patterns. Yes, I'm sure. Now they're gone. What do I need to do? I need to save that scene. So now I've saved a version of that scene with that stuff in the pattern sequencer deleted. So now if I decide to play some piano for a while, and I think I'm going back to a scene that's got these sounds in it, but it doesn't have the sequencer stuff in it, guess what? I saved it, so it's in the state that I wanted to save it in. All right, great. A little bit of extra bonus information there. We're going to use the pattern recording feature today, and we're going to go into step recording. So just as we did yesterday, we're going to go ahead and hit Record. I'm going to turn off my click because I'm recording stuff a step at a time. I can go into either TR Rec or step recording. I'm recording my A group of patterns, and I'm going to hit step recording. Well, kind of what I want to do is this drum sound here, so let's go back into this. Hit step recording, and I want to record just a straight 4 on the floor of these bass drums. So I'm going to set this to quarter notes, and I'm just going to mash this as hard as I can. I got 4 bass drum hits in there. I said I'm going to mash that as hard as I can on the keyboard because I've got velocity set to real. We went over that function a little bit in the previous TR Rec video. And if I wanted to have the velocity of these hits be something other than what I actually hit on the keyboard, I could set those to any value before I hit them, okay? It's an important thing. And so now if I go to the pattern, I'll notice that I've got a pattern here. I've also got something here that's interesting. I've got something, if I play it, there's nothing there. If I play this, there's a bass drum there. How come I've got a pattern there? Well, it's because what I did was when I set up that initial recording, I had it assigned to the bass note, and then I flipped over to the drum stuff. So if I'm not careful, what I'll end up doing here is the next time I try to record something there, it'll move to the B group. So what I want to do is I want to use that pattern utility again. I've selected this pattern. I can keep in mind, I can select with the arrow keys any of these patterns that I want. I'm selecting that track 1. I'm going to say pattern utility, delete, delete. And I'm going to not delete all. I'm just going to delete the one pattern, 1A. Yes. So now my bass part that I didn't record, even though it thought I was trying to record a pattern, that is gone. What do I do when I want to save something on the Fantom? Save the scene so that I make sure that I get what I want saved. Well, now that we've got that bass, that drum part recorded, let's go into the drums. And I hit this. Well, what if I want to add something more to that drum part? Well, let's hit record again. And we'll notice something here. I'm on the B group. I don't want to do that. I want to mix, and I want to hit on the A group. I'm not sure if you saw how that worked. So let's hit this again. If I hit new, it says I'm recording a new pattern, and it flipped down to B. But I don't want to do that. I want to overdub on the A pattern. So I flip up to mix, because that's mixing what I previously recorded with what I'm going to record now. Again, I'm going to turn the click track off. I'm going to hit step recording. We look up at the top here, and what are we doing? We can see that we've already got data in here. Okay, hit stop. Now we want to put some snare drums in there. But if I just hit snare drums on eighth notes, oh wait, that's not what I want. That is not what I want at all. I messed that up. What do I do now? Well, I can hit step back. And I don't want to hit eighth notes. I want to hit quarter notes. So let's go to quarter notes. But even there, if I hit the snare drum, wait, I don't want it to be this. That's not what I want. So let's step back. Okay? And what I want to do is I want to put a rest in on beat number 1, and then a snare on beat 2, and then a rest in on beat 3, and a snare on beat 4. Beat 4. Now guess what I got? Boom. Exactly what I wanted. Great. So go to pattern. I'm still sitting on the same pattern, right? Hit record. I'm in mix mode. So guess what I get to do now? Step record. I want to put some hi-hats in there. I'm going to keep the velocity on real. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this over to 16th notes, because I'm going to do that typical 16th note pattern. But one of the cool things about using the step mode is, since I'm playing the keyboard, I can record velocity with my steps as I'm playing. So I'm going to lean on the 1, 2, 3, and 4 beat, and the little 16th notes that are in between the beats, I'm going to play those with lower velocity, because it'll give us a more realistic sound if you want. Okay, so oh, that's interesting. Now what have I got? So notice how quick and easy it is to put something together that way. And you might say, well, some of that I might want to do with the TRREC mode of recording, and some of that I might want to do with the step mode of recording. But either way, you can mix and match these techniques. The important thing to do is, once you get something you like, again, write the scene. It doesn't take long. The Fantom's really fast at this. And now, even if I go someplace else and I want to play around with, I get back here to this scene and I'm right back where I wanted to be. So I can start a piece of music, get bored, save it, go play around with some other stuff, get some inspiration, come back to that scene, and I can start right where I left off. Well, what we want to do now is we want to kind of go in here and say, well, I think I'm going to record this first pattern here, this first track, pattern A1, pattern group A, track 1. And I'm going to go in there, and I'm in new mode, because it's a new pattern. There's nothing in that pattern already. And what I'm going to do is, instead of recording the bass drum sounds, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to record that bass, instead of recording the drums, I'm going to record that bass note stuff that I had in there from before. So we're going to set this to 16th notes as well, because I want to record that kind of thumping bass, and I'm just going to go boom. And you'll notice that since I've got real-time velocity, the real velocity that I'm playing on the keyboard, it's actually recording those velocities, and I get dynamics in the music. So that is a really handy way to do things. And again, since I've got this where I want it, I'm going to hit and record or save, write that scene. So now if I go fool around on other things, I can get back here. I got some inspiration now. All right. So step mode's really powerful. And keep in mind what you can do in step mode. We're going to go to mix. If I want to mix in new material, mix in overdub material, I can do that. So if I wanted to throw some stuff on top of that bass with that same sound, I could do that. Or if I wanted to, I could record a separate B version of that track and fool around with it that way. Do different variations of that same material. I'm not going to do that now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here. I'm going to try and find a sound for my next zone. And we're going to try and find some kind of a sound that we might do, I don't know, some kind of a synthesizer sound, or something that we could use to do like an arpeggio with. So as we did yesterday, we can head into the menus here, and let's just kind of look for something that's got a name that looks like it'll hit us right. These are all lead sounds, and so maybe something will. Okay, that's maybe not. Let's try a couple things. All right, I'll take that. Not the greatest music in the world. But okay, we'll take that sound. That's going to be the sound on this. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to record some 16th note arpeggios using that step mode of recording. So we'll hit record. I'm going to turn my click off. I'm in step mode. I'm on a new track, track 3, and I'm in group A. And I'm going to go ahead and say, well, I'm going to hit these to 16th notes. And I'm going to just go. Okay? And so what I got now is this. Wow, I hate that. So let's just step back. So I haven't saved that data yet. Guess what? I can do chords too. Maybe that sound would sound better with chords. Let's do like 8th notes and go. But I got a sound that doesn't do chords, so that'd sound terrible. And again, step back. Let's go into my zone view. Instead of choosing a sound that's a lead sound, let's go ahead and choose something that maybe we can do some good with. Let's hit pads. Let's go in here. Let's hit a synth key sound. Ooh, I like that. That might work. All right, so I'm going to record some 8th note chord stabs. So on this, we're in track 3, group A, we're in mix mode. I'm going to turn off my click. I'm going to go into step mode. I've got 8th notes, and I'm just going to go. So not only can you record individual notes, kind of monophonic bass lines and stuff like that in the step record mode, you can also record chords. And that's one thing that's a big difference between the TR rec mode of recording and the pattern mode of recording. Now again, if I want to save this, I hit right and I save the scene. I'm not going to save that though for an important reason, and that is, let's just go back here. So see, I didn't save that, so the quickest way to get back to the saved version of it is just select the scene again or go to another scene and come back. Let's go in here now, though, and let's say we're going to select that same sound again, and it is the pad sounds, and we're gonna hit enter. We're gonna go to these poly key synth things. We're gonna use analog atmosphere. And I'm gonna demonstrate one little thing that's not immediately apparent on this when you go into step mode, and that is you don't have to stick with your choices in step mode that you start with. So if I want to put in 2 16th notes and go, and then go to some chords in 8th notes and go, and then I'll go back to 16th notes, and then go to 8th notes. So you can see kind of the power of this, because you can do all kinds of stuff. You can change the note type for each note that you're entering. You can choose whether you want the real velocity that you're playing on the keyboard, or if you want to set the velocity to a particular value. Your note type, of course, we said. The gate time, that's how long that key would be held. You can put a rest in if you don't want to put something in on a particular note. You can do ties, just like in written sheet music, if you want to do that. And this all together with the TR rec mode of recording and the real-time pattern recording, that's a real powerful set of tools that you can use to put together music very quickly. One of the things that I like the most about using the step mode is if I want an arpeggio in a piece of music and I don't have an arpeggio built into the machine that does that, I can actually play the arpeggio in there exactly the way I want. So I'll show you that as well. Let's move back out here and say we're going to go, we didn't save that scene, so. And let's just say that on this sound I just want to go. Okay, that's my arpeggio part that I want to play. Well, that's not an arpeggio that I've got on anything. Okay, so I'm going to play that arpeggio over and over in 16th notes. Hit record. I'm on the B group for some reason. I don't want to do that. I want to go to the A group. So I'm going to go ahead and record. Click. Step record. 16th notes. See, that's not an arpeggio that you would find in any machine, but now I've got it. And if I wanted to, since I'm in mix mode, go to pattern, I'm in that same pattern now, hit TR rec, I'm in that mix mode, click, step record, I can add more material on top of that. So if I wanted to add some other little pulsating stuff to kind of make up some little chords or something as I'm going along, I'm not sure how this is going to actually sound, but let's try it. Well, I liked how that turned out. See, I can put together arpeggios that are a lot more complicated than what I would normally hit if I just had an arpeggio and I played, a chord and let the machine do whatever it does. I can put together some pretty complicated little pieces that way. I mean, listen to that. Boom. A lot of power in these modes of recording, and you can combine them together to put together whatever kind of music you want. It doesn't have to be this kind of, synthesizer stuff. Really powerful tools in the Fantom. Showed off the step recording feature today, contrasted it with the TR rec mode. More tools in your toolbox for making music on this workstation. Not sure what I'm going to do with the next video. I'll give some thought to it, and please join us next time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.